Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Alicia. I just recently got back from a work trip, which is not my normal as a teacher. But I've been traveling, I feel like about 24 years, where I've taken like 4-ish plus flights a year. Mainly because I used to live in Indiana and then I moved to California. So I would go back a lot to see my family, but then we'd also go on vacation. So I thought I'd put together like a little list on like my travel essentials, which I'm sure is different for everybody. You could probably find 20 more than I have, but I just thought I'd go over a little list of things I find useful when I travel. Sadly, the older I get, the bigger that list gets. The first one is not anything I have tangible to show you. And this is probably only worthwhile if you travel a lot, but that is TSA PreCheck. And again, you have to travel a lot to make it worthwhile. It is roughly $75 every 5 years. It could have went up. I'm on my second stint of that. And because I travel 4 or more times a year, it is to me invaluable. Going through security line, it is way shorter. You don't have to like take your jacket off or take your shoes off. The whole process is a lot faster. So you're usually in a shorter line. And again, they don't look at your stuff, I guess, as closely as they do other people's because they've done extra background checks. So for me, TSA PreCheck is just really worth its weight in gold. Also, now I have all this stuff in front of me. This didn't come about until we started traveling with my daughter. And at this point, it's now essential. And we usually have 2 of them. But that is a battery pack. Back when we started traveling with like an iPad for my daughter, so she could be entertained on the flight. Like the iPad was supposed to have like an 8-hour charge. And I guess I took it at its word. And so the very first time we flew with it, I didn't even begin to think that it would go dead. So I got this really, I don't know, this was like probably more than I needed, gigantic. Like this has power plus some to keep the iPad going all day long. I think it was only like 25 bucks. So I have one of these. I will say that like my phone can be wishy-washy on whether it holds battery well. So I had a little one for my phone until it got recalled. But I will be repurchasing that. So a battery pack, especially if you're going on longer flights, unknown, I don't know, you have delays. If you have a phone that's battery is like unreliable like mine, a battery pack is to me one of those essential travel things. Snacks. So different airlines have different snacks, and I feel like there's always like the weird time where maybe you're not getting anything, or they have something that you don't like, or you missed a connection, or you were late to a connection. I shouldn't say you missed a connection, but you were like tight in your connection, so you didn't have time to grab a snack before your next flight. If you're like me and like food is essential, have a snack. So I ended up not using them. But like I said, I was going on a work trip. We were at a conference and I really didn't know what food they were providing. I didn't know like how often there would be snacks on that particular part. But I picked these protein granola bars. I just had a box of them in my backpack. That way I was set depending on the scenario. And so I feel like especially for longer flights, you never know what's going to happen. And I just get like really shaky, really whatever. Like my motion sickness is worse if I don't have snacks. I will say like Southwest, I feel like the last 2 airlines we were on, Southwest, I don't know if there was United, they both kind of veered from the traditional plain pretzels and peanuts to these really unique flavor. Like Southwest right now has like this almost like monk fruit. It was something weird, like seasoned pretzels, and I can eat them, but I would see where they would not be most people's cup of tea. My daughter doesn't like them. And I forget what airline we did at Christmas, but they also had a very unique snack pack where it was like, I don't think the masses would like that. So again, if you have kids or just like, if you're like me where food can make or break your mood, your spirits, have a snack. And I would think protein, and make sure it like can be squished. It's not going to like all fall apart. With that, refillable water bottle is essential. This one's missing its lid. This was in the sink getting ready to get washed. But I don't want to pay like $10 for an airport water. I also just hate wasting water bottles. So we've used refillable water bottles, I feel like, I don't know, 15 years at this point. So a refillable water bottle. That's also good on travel because you never know, like, I don't know, where your next stop is. So a refillable water bottle. Of course, you have to take it empty to the airport, but then once you get to security, you can fill it back up. Now, this is relatively new. I didn't get this until, I think, December. And I just lucked into this. So I don't know what I used prior to my daughter, but for the last 10 years, I've just been using one of her school backpacks. And I really didn't know how nice an actual travel backpack would be. I just randomly, I think one of her backpacks, I don't know, for whatever reason in December, I just decided I needed to get kind of an adult backpack and stop using my daughter's like dinosaur backpack. And I went to Target and I was just looking at the backpacks. Travel backpack wasn't even on my radar. This just happened to be on clearance. I don't know. And it was, I think, regularly like $40, on sale for $20. I love this. I had meant to go back and get another one because I feel like when my daughter's current backpack fails, I would give her this one. But I forgot to do that. So a backpack that's meant for travel. Like, I can't tell you how much I really like this. And, you know, from the outside, it just looks like a standard backpack, but it's just somehow designed better. And I really can't tell you too much about it other than this is 1,000 times better than my, like, little kids' backpacks. One feature is this has one of those things where you can put it on your suitcase. I always check my bag, so this isn't necessarily a necessity for me. I also like that it has 2 water bottle pockets and they're not mesh. They also hold my big water bottle with total ease. All the mesh ones on my daughter's backpack, like basically that's the weakest link and they're going to break. I also appreciate how the front zip, you don't really see the zipper. And I feel like that might be a theft deterrent if you are somewhere walking around. So you don't really see where the zipper is. And for whatever reason, I really appreciate that. And I like that about it. Also, for me, this back part, which is probably for most people a laptop or iPad place, this is just really nice for your book, your planner, your notebook. Sometimes my daughter's iPad, whatever. But I just really, for me, it's just, I've never had this in like her backpack or my backpack. And so even though I don't carry a laptop with me, this little flat compartment has been really nice to keep things separate. And then again, inside is just a normal backpack, but it just seems to be a unique shape, like somehow more structured than the kitty backpacks. It does have pockets on the inside. I will say I don't use them. This could be handy for many different things. I just don't use that feature. But for whatever reason, this just seems to hold things. It's small, but mighty. I get all kinds of stuff in here. I had an umbrella, a sweatshirt, books, you name it, on this last flight. And so I would look into a travel backpack that's meant for it. I didn't know what I was missing until I had this one. Eye mask. This is my favorite eye mask I think I've ever had. I randomly picked it up, I think like 6 months ago at Target. It was like $5. It is so soft. Normally, one size fits all don't fit me because my head is like, I think, larger. But it does fit and it's just super nice. I love this. But this is not, I guess, I don't need this for the plane. I guess unless you were going like on a overnight flight. But I need this at hotels. I need to sleep in absolute darkness. And so some hotels have blackout curtains, some don't. So for me, this is an essential travel thing. So I make sure that the light coming in the windows isn't going to disturb my sleep. Now, weather appropriate items. I would recommend checking the weather a couple weeks before you leave, a few days before you leave. I think there were monkeys in my phone before this trip. It literally changed, I feel like every 2 hours. Rain, no rain, rain, no rain. So I did pack an umbrella. But if you're going somewhere really cold, make sure you have the jacket. Or if it's going to rain every day, maybe invest in a raincoat or at least a disposable poncho. So make sure you know what the weather is. You might assume you know, but maybe you don't. Like, I forget that San Francisco, even though it's only like, I think if you drive, is it like 6 hours north of here? Something like that. 4 to 6 hours north of here. It is supremely windier, rainier, colder than Southern California. So research your area and don't assume you know what the weather is. All right, feminine products. This is more if you are going out of country. I've watched several travel videos where I guess a lot of other countries don't have tampons or have as many variety of things. So if you are very particular about what feminine product you use, bring it. Look at the calendar, see whether you're going to be on your period or not. Because I've just heard that other countries don't have as much variety as we do. And so if you're particular, bring what you need. All right, medicine. And so I've recently, I would say the last 4 years, I need an inhaler if I get sick. So if I have a cold, I will have coughing fits that really don't stop. I have 2 kinds of inhalers, kind of like an all-day one, and then I have a Buterol that kind of stops the coughing fit. And so pretty much I don't leave my house on a trip without both of those inhalers. The way our medical group works, I think it would be very hard for me. It could take days if I'm unlucky to actually get through to anybody to actually get me inhalers. So I don't travel without inhalers. So if you have a medicine that you absolutely have to have, do not assume it's going to be easily accessible, especially if you're in another country. Also, like if you're just going to Utah or Arizona, I don't really stock up too much in my suitcase on non-prescription meds. But if you are going out of the country, when we did a Alaska cruise 2 years ago, and it was in the summer. So I didn't even think to bring kind of like an emergency kit of cough medicine, cold medicine. I should have thought about that because we were all on a cruise with like 2,000 other people. But my daughter got sick. Because you were in Alaska and the port are very small, we spent like $75 in this little port for medicine. And we were stuck with what they had. And again, it was $75. You also, you only are at the port ever so often. So it's not like you have access. Cruise ships have a little bit. But again, it's expensive. It's limited. And so when we went on the cruise at Christmas time here, I had like a little bit of everything. Anti-diarrhea, cough medicine, cold medicine, like whatever. I had a little bit of everything and we used it. So cruises and out of this country, bring like a Ziploc bag of sort of like the essentials because you never know what they have. And if you're in another country in a foreign language, they're probably not going to have the brand NyQuil. So you're going to have no idea what you're looking for. It's going to be in a different language in a whole different package. I forgot. Somehow it's not even on my list. Reading material, something to do. Maybe you like crosswords or word searches. Books. And if you watch my Wantable, you already know I'm raving about this book. I'm halfway through Green Lights, Matthew McConaughey. Highly recommend. This was my book on my last trip. If you want a lemons to lemonade, positive, glass half full, this is the book for you. Sadly, at this point, I have 2 Kindles. And I know that seems extreme. So my original Kindle is over 10 years old, the battery, and it was just basically being wonky. It took I feel like 15 seconds to switch the page. But this one has games on it, Sudoku and Mahjong, and I love that. And so for Christmas this year, I asked, sorry, my nose is itching. For Christmas, I asked for a new Kindle, not realizing you can't have games. So at this point, I have 2 Kindles because I'm not ready. I don't always want to just read for hours and hours. I like playing the Sudoku and the Mahjong. So I'm extra. I have 2 Kindles. So I would say reading material. I like having a notebook. Sometimes you jot down ideas, which is how I ended up with this list of travel tips. And then the last one is essentials for you. Sadly, my list has gotten bigger. Oh, I still have some more. I'm sorry. I'm crazy. Anyway, we'll get to essentials for you in a second. Especially when I'm traveling with a family, I bring either basically something like this, a power strip that has multiple ports. You never know how many plugs an iPad or a hotel is going to have. I also bring several bricks, several cords. At least for me, maybe I'm like, we're the only family that this happens to, but the lightning plugs seem to die willy-nilly. So I always have an extra of that. And then another one that I really recommend is some kind of laundry bag. This is just a bag I got in one of the boxes, but sometimes it's just a trash bag to put your dirty laundry in. Sorry, I forgot those. Now, essentials for you. Things that you cannot live without. 2 things that are very extra that I basically pretty much bring all the time. We have a small fan. Yes, we put a fan in our suitcase. Pretty much all 3 of us need that fan. And a noisemaker on your phone for me is just not equivalent. And most of the time, I don't always pack this guy because I almost hate to admit to it. I have 2 blackout curtains I've bought, and I have clothespins. So I bring those almost every trip we go on because for both myself and my daughter, the minute the light's in our room, we are awake. So those are 2 examples of really extra things that I can't live without pretty much, and that I bring. So whatever your essential is, bring it with you. I also always check bags because I have a ridiculous amount of skincare. Skincare is like my hobby, and it's just it's how I start my day and end my day. And so I just have a ridiculous amount of skincare. So know your essentials, whatever they are. If you know you get cold, pack the extra sweater. So whatever it is that's essential for you, make sure you bring that. Anyway, do you guys have anything that you bring that's your essential? Let me know. Also, this is not a good example. I don't know why I have these, but basically motion sickness medicine. I basically have it in my purse 24/7, but both my daughter and I get motion sick, so motion sick is also an essential for us. Anyway, hopefully this was some helpful tips about what to bring traveling. I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.